What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the best sword and shield leveling build in Throne and Liberty. So in this guide we will choose the best skills and specializations, and in what order should you upgrade them. Then we will go over the gear, so what specific items should you get, how to actually find them, and what is the best way to quickly level up your character, all the way to level 50 and much more. So if you want to use the most optimized sword and shield leveling guide, which will get you to the endgame in just few hours, then here it is. So let's move over to the skills, and the best leveling setup is the greatsword with the sword and shield. So for defensive skill we get the shield survival technique, and then for active skills we get the shield strike, valiant brawl, dead blow, Gaia crash, Da Vinci's courage, provoking roar, willbreaker, counter barrier, chain hook, stalwart bastion, stunning blow, and the precision dash. As you can see from the gameplay, I don't have all of these same skill icons on my bar. It is because the skill icons can change depending on the specific skill specializations we use. So the shield strike will turn into the piercing attack, then the valiant brawl turns into the cruel smite, and finally the Gaia crash will turn into the frost cleaving. And then for passive skills we get the robust constitution, vital force, resilient mind, victor's morale, spectrum of agony, cold warrior, morale boost, and indomitable armor. The order that you should get these passives is from level 3 slot in the robust constitution and skillful evasion, then at level 6 add resilient mind and replace the skillful evasion with the vital force. Then at level 20 add the cold warrior, then at 25 add the victor's morale, then at level 30 add the spectrum of agony, and finally at level 40 add the morale boost and indomitable armor. Next we will quickly look into the skill priority, and we want to use quality and rare marine ore to craft quality and rare passive skill and active skill groved books. I recommend to prioritize getting all of your skills to blue first before getting them to purple. And then for the rest of your skills, they're not as important, so just upgrade them as you progress through the game. So for active skills, you mainly want to focus on upgrading the shield strike, Gaia crash, dead blow, Da Vinci's courage, stunning blow, stalwart bastion, willbreaker, and provoking roar. Next up we have our skill specialization, and once you hit level 15, you will acquire skill specialization points, which can modify and upgrade your skills. And then every level you will get 3 points until level 50, which in total will be 100 points. You can also reset these points at any time, so don't worry about locking yourself in just one specific build. So for the shield strike, get the piercing attack, then for dead blow get the cooldown and damage increase, then for willbreaker select the damage area change, then for stalwart bastion get the focus on effect target, then for provoking roar get the effect duration and cooldown, then for precision dash don't select anything. Next we have the valiant brawl, and we select the cruel smite and additional damage boost. Then for Gaia crash get all 3, so frost cleaving, attack speed, and critical hit. Then for counter barrier select the cooldown, then for Da Vinci's courage get the duration, damage reduction, and instant healing, then for chain hook get the range, and lastly for stunning blow get the cooldown, additional damage boost, and effect duration. And for the order, I recommend to spend these points fully in just one skill before going to the next one. So first of all get everything I showed for the shield strike, then Gaia crash, then dead blow, and so on and so forth. Next we have our weapon mastery, so for the sword and shield we start at the middle and get everything from the skillful block until the all-out defense, and then we go to the top row and get everything from melee defense up until the damage reduction. And then for the greatsword we take a look at the middle row and only get the skilled vitality. Then next we go to the bottom and get the entire row. And finally let's go now to the top row and select everything from the ranged defense until the firm will. So now let's go over to the gear, and here is our overall setup, which will take us all the way to 50, but depending on your RNG you might get 1 or 2 blue pieces as well. All of this gear can be easily acquired through the main story, codex chapters, and by crafting it yourself. This is just the minimum most powerful gear that you can use to speedrun through the leveling process, and which will set you up for the endgame. I've also selected traits, but it's pretty unrealistic to use traits on your leveling gear. So while you technically can, I don't recommend it while you're not level 50. Traits in this game are the extra stats on your gear, and at some point you have the option to choose them by having the same piece of gear or the exact version of that gear but with a different trait, which you can then add it to your existing gear. But again, if you get lucky, that's awesome, but if you can't get these traits, then that is fine as well. So for our equipment, we want to get the Gladiator's Sword and upgrade it until level 6. You can find this item's crafting recipe from level 6 Uncommon Weapon Chest, or by defeating the NPCs, such as the Grey Claw, Giant Butcher, Valprant, and the Potion Thief Leader. Next we have the Elite Resistance Broadsword, and as all items need to be upgraded until the max level, so I will stop mentioning it, but just don't forget about it. You can find this item's crafting recipe from chests like the Blessing Pouches, or from level 6 Rare Weapon Selection Chest, or by defeating the Orc Shadow Elder, Tower Red Pyromancer, or the Malachar. Next we have the Avenger's Hat, and you can get it from the Uncommon Headgear chest, or by defeating the Hermit Crab or the Crackle. Then we have the Shaman's Cloak, and you can get it from level 6 Uncommon Cloak Selection chest, or by defeating the Lethal Venom Cobra. Then we have the Special Resistance Tactical Armor, and you can get it from the Precious Blessing Pouch, or as well by defeating the Possessed and Galoo Archers. Next we have the Prophet's Magic Gloves, and you can get it from the level 6 Uncommon Gloves chest, or by defeating all types of Implancers. Next we have the Marksman's Leather Pants, and you can get it from the Possessed Galoo Archer, or from the Worker Ant, or even from the Flame Fighter. Next we have the Supplicant's Ritual Boots, that you can get from Uncommon Shoe chest, or by defeating the Honey Pot Ant, Tower Explosive Ant, Mandrake, or the Black Boar. Next we have the Crude Wind Necklace, that you can get from Uncommon Accessory chest, from the Hyper Boosting chest, or from the Growth Support chest, as well as by defeating the Benny and the Orc Fighters. Then we have the Crude Conquest Bracelet, that you can get from Uncommon Accessory chest, or by defeating the Charging Ant, Skeleton Knight, or the Grey Claw Sentry. Next up we have the Lethal Fortune Ring, that you can only get as a reward from the Cursed Wasteland Conquest, or by opening the level 6 Rare Accessory and the Ring Selection chest. Then we have the Crude Stone Band, that you can get from Uncommon Accessory chest, from the Hyper Boosting and the Growth Support chests, or by defeating the Evil Eye. And finally we have the Crude Meditation Belt, that you can get from Accessory chests, from Hyper Boosting, or from the Growth Support chest, as well as by defeating the NPCs, such as the Spectral Wizard, Ant Larva, or the Orc Shadowmancer. Next up we have our gear upgrades, and as this game doesn't have very typical gear progression, so by this I mean that you will have to upgrade pretty much anything you get. So you start at Grey Gear, and then you will want to upgrade it to level 3. This is because when we equip green gear, we then want to transfer the Grey Gear into that green one. By transferring XP from our previous war's gear, we will save a bunch of experience. And you want to do this for every single gear and weapon piece, as well as you will be doing the same thing with blue and purple items in the endgame. So the main concept you need to keep in mind is just to upgrade your current gear, no matter what it is, and then transfer it to your new one. So now let's move over to the stats. And as for leveling, all everyone cares about is damage and fast progression, so we want to focus mainly on dexterity and wisdom. Every level from 1 to 50 will give us a stat point. To invest as well, gear will give us additional stat points that we cannot change. So depending on our gear, we want to spend our points to reach milestones like 30, 40 or 50. Because each one of these milestones will give us extra stats, like more HP, extra damage, reduced cooldowns and etc. So our first goal from about level 1 to 21 is to reach 30 wisdom, because early on you have mana issues as a sword with a shield, and this wisdom will provide mana regen, max mana and cooldown speed, so this makes it our best stat to get as soon as possible. Then next we want to get to 30 dexterity, which should happen from about level 22 until 41. Dexterity not only adds maximum weapon damage, but also increases your crit chance, evasion and attack speed. So increasing dexterity is our best method of increasing our damage output. And then finally from level 42 plus, we want to spend our leftover points into the strength. And our final goal at level 50 is to reach at least 30 strength, 30 dexterity and 30 wisdom. But again, the main focus is on dexterity and wisdom while leveling, and then after that only stack strength as much as you can. And as I've already said for the weapon masteries, skill specializations and everything else, You can easily reset these stats at any time, so don't worry about locking yourself to only one setup. And now finally we have come to the gameplay part. So the sword with shield and a great sword gives you a ton of sustained damage while leveling. Skills like the Da Vinci's Courage, for example, are your most important skills to use to limit the amount of downtime you have while leveling. From level 15, because of specializations, we will turn most of our powerful DPS skills into a huge AoE potential. Also, while leveling, the mobs won't be very challenging, so you can use most of your skills in no particular order. But just here is one example. So my favorite rotation is to start the fight with the chain hook, then use the cruel smite, then the stunning blow, then dead blow, and then we finish it off with the piercing attack. This quick combo basically pulls enemies close in, then buffs our damage, and then we AoE them down with some of our most powerful skills. Also, be sure to use the shield survival technique against the fury attacks. This will help you to regain mana and health while killing mobs and leveling. So in a summary, leveling in Throne of Liberty is very simple. Just follow the main storyline and start completing chapter 1 until chapter 10. After chapter 4, you should be able to craft a full set of green gear, which will take us all the way to the endgame. And that's about it. So if you enjoyed this video, click like, subscribe and comment. And if you're interested in more content, then check out my channel. And I will see you in the next one. So take it easy. Peace.